Deadlock has a serious gun problem. If you've played more than a few games recently, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. The gun meta has spiraled out of control, and it's making the game feel worse to play whether you're winning or losing. No one wins. By 20 minutes, the game shifts hard. Guns don't just become strong, they start breaking the game's balance. Even if you're ahead in gold, playing a spirit-focused comp or spirit-focused builds start to feel like a handicap compared to these gun builds that just scale so much better. Let's talk about why that's happening and how it affects gameplay and what Deadlock needs to do to fix this ASAP. Let's break down the problem. Guns right now scale too efficiently with upgrades. As time passes, damage, range, and precision and fire rate, all this stuff scales so much higher than what most abilities can scale with. A player with solid aim and a late game gun can delete spirit comps, even if those spirit comps are ahead in XP or money. I think this is a really telltale sign that the game feels worse for Spirit as it goes on. Spirit's good early game, it's good in the lane, and then as Spirit goes on, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I think that the biggest thing that hurts Spirit is the inconsistency or not its inability to it'll never be as consistent as a gun hero, because gun will always be more consistent because it's not on a cooldown, it's not on a timer. The only timer is reloading, but there are items. You could buy Spell Slinger that lowers reload time, you could buy Titanic Mag, which doubles your ammo size, you could buy Quicksilver Reload, which lets you get another clip for free if you use an ability. You can buy Active Reload, lets you reload in like a third of the time, a half the time, something like that. But that's besides the point. When you get to this 20-minute point in the game, you land a big combo of all of your spirit. Let's say you're playing Viscous, you land a ball, you land a punch, and then what now? There's not like, let's assume you don't have goo ball, like for sake of argument. Let's say you do that, you do big damage with that, you do, I don't know, let's say you do 600 damage. The character has 2,000, they still have 18 or 1,400. They're going to just run at you with left click because now you have nothing. It's like playing your cards. Like, it's like you're playing poker and you just show them your cards immediately. It's like, oh, and you can tell you're gonna win. Of course, you're just gonna bet all your money. You're gonna go all in. And I think that's unfun. I think that's inconsistent, and that's the biggest thing that gun meta. That's the biggest problem gun meta has, is how consistent it is. And if your team just buys, if you have 4 carries that just play gun, and they have like maybe 1 or 0, you truthfully cannot win that game because they have better mid-boss, they have better objective damage, they have more consistent damage. They can do all of these things that you just can't do. They don't have points of weakness. Like when you're playing Yamato, if you use all your abilities, and you're playing Spirit Yamato, you can't do anything. That's a huge point of weakness. If you're experienced in a MOBA or a hero shooter genre, you understand that you wait for them to use their cooldowns and then they're vulnerable and then you attack them. And so it makes me think, why would I ever play Spirit when I could play gun that's more consistent, more damage, better objective damage, better mid-boss, better farming, or I guess farming maybe. I'll put an asterisk on that one because like it depends for some characters. They might, like Mo and Krill can clear a medium camp with Burrow, Scorn, and Cold Front in a second, super early in the game, but Hayes can do a super big camp with Ricochet infinitely faster than he could ever do that. So I'll put a little asterisk on that. You guys understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, what else am I trying to say? I recorded this whole video and didn't whatchamacallit, didn't record my audio. I'm trying to think about what else I talked about. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that can be talked about is how good gun is against objective damage compared to Spirit. Let's say you're playing Yamato, and then for sake of argument, we're going to have a Warden. If the Yamato is playing Spirit, they hit the Walker with what? A 600 damage power slash, but they already have a lot of Spirit resist too, which is funny that they have more. I think they have more Spirit than gun resist, but a Yamato hits it with 1 power slash. Now you have to wait 8 seconds to get that, to get your big damage spike on the walker again. Well, Warden just holds left click and the walker takes more damage quicker and dies, like, and he doesn't have to stop. You have to reload, but like you have Quicksilver, you have all the items I listed earlier.
That's a good point. I'm not having a good time over
So it just makes me think why Deadlock thinks, why are we being stuck in this meta? This is such an easy thing to fix. You just nerf the gun items, you nerf gun scaling, you nerf gun scaling per boom, I think is the official terms. Yeah, you just do an overall gun nerf. I think they did that, I want to say a couple months ago, maybe even a long time ago, where they just straight up put a big nerf on guns, and like gun is still so good. With the new item rework, some of these items just work so well with gun, and like, I do wonder, what do you guys think? Do you think that the future, what do you think the meta of Deadlock will be in a year? Because it feels like there's been way more gun metas, and when gun is meta, it feels bad to play against, and it feels bad to play with. If you see any gun character on a walker and no one can cover it, it just dies. Like, it just dies. And it makes macro so much more important. And so, like, if you have a spirit-focused composition, and your macro's not very good, one, you should lose the game if your macro's bad. But for sake of argument, if your macro's bad and you don't have, they have gun characters, they can snowball the game so fast, and like once they get all these objectives because they do more objective damage, they go mid-boss and they do mid-boss faster than you because they have gun characters, they have a McGinnis, they have a Haze, they have an Infernus, they have all these tools that you just don't really have.
Yeah, it happens.
And it makes the game feel predictable, and it's not fun. I don't enjoy laning against or laning with the Haze, and Haze wins. We win our lane. The Haze just goes and farms because she's actively griefing her game and our team if she doesn't just go farm and buy Ricochet and then turbo farm and then get all of these late game items that are going to let her just win the game. Because at the end of the day, the early game and mid game will never matter more than the end game. The whole point of early and mid game is to set yourself up for end game. And the best way for Haze to do that is to buy Ricochet and go into the jungle and farm it all and let everyone else on our team fight, let their team fight. And so that's why sometimes you have gun carries on your team and they're constantly fighting, they're constantly brawling. And a really good analogy I tried to play League of Legends once. This was a really good analogy this guy made. He said, imagine you have a jungle camp that's guaranteed 100 souls. I gotta take my glasses off. Imagine you have a jungle camp that's a guaranteed 100 souls, and then you have a team fight that you might get 200 souls from or 300 souls from. But the biggest difference is the team fight is not guaranteed. That's not 100%. That's what, 70% chance that you might get more gold. But if you don't get that more gold and you lose, oh my god, I'm talking so fast. Let's say you go to the team fight, you die. Instead of profiting 200 gold, you profit 0. You actually lose. So let's say you're down 50. But if you had gone to do that 100% chance jungle camp, you would have gotten your 200, 100 souls, whatever I said. And that's that's guaranteed for sake of argument. It's 100%. Obviously, there's variables that maybe make it not 100%. What's happening to my camera? But that's why a Haze really should just never show up to a fight. Like, just buy Ricochet and farm the jungle. And farm waves, push waves, play a side lane. Like, you're actively griefing your game. Like, I think Haze players would do much better if they didn't engage in a fight until the 10-minute mark. Or not the 10-minute the 20-minute mark. If they just waited 20 minutes and then, so what is happening? What the I guess my camera, what? Okay, well, I mean, that's mostly what I wanted to say, so like, subscribe, comment if you will want to. Obviously, you don't have to, but yeah.